Hello, happy Monday, and welcome to the Monday Morning Pep Talk. In this week's installment, we're going to dig into I hate looking for jobs. First of all, I agree. It can totally suck looking for jobs. But let's take a minute and look at why we actually hate looking for jobs. Do we hate not finding anything that interests us? Do we hate trying to create the perfect resume? Do we hate having to draft a dozen different cover letters for each different thing we apply for? Do we hate going through online applications that ask us for the same stuff we just submitted in our resume? Do we hate never hearing anything back? Do we hate never getting constructive feedback if we do hear back? Do we hate rejection? Do we hate interviewing? Or do we just hate everything about the whole process? Whatever it is you hate about looking for a job, I promise you, we can help you find a better way that actually serves you and the job you want to find or create for yourself. As always, let's take a minute here and let's look at the problem. I believe one of the biggest challenges with the way we normally look for jobs is it's in direct contrast to how organizations actually hire. We typically look for jobs that are publicly listed, that look vaguely interesting or aligned to our skills. Then we work on our resume and our cover letters, and then we start sending them out. I like to call this the spray and pray approach, because in most cases, we're at the mercy of a screening algorithm or a person who actually knows nothing about who we really are. So how might we reframe this more productively? The reality is, the shortest distance between you and a new job is between you and the person who's hiring for that job. So rather than asking yourself, can I find a job listed online that someone has crafted especially for me? Ask yourself, what kind of organization would I love to work for? Who is the kind of person that I would love to work for at that organization? And how might I connect with that person to learn more about the organization and their journey into getting a job there? I always say the single greatest hack in finding a job you love is finding someone who already has the job, because they often hold the secret of finding and getting that ideal job. I will share an interesting example from my journey. When I had finally succumbed to the anxiety that I had while working on the stock exchange floor, I told myself I would find a more supportive, more impactful environment where I could use the skills that I developed in a more meaningful way without requiring me to take anti-anxiety medication on a regular basis. So it was the first time in my life I had a little bit of a professional mission statement. I said I wanted to increase the efficiency of the global markets. In retrospect, it seems kind of silly and trivial, but that's what I was needing at that point in my life. And having worked on a very antiquated physical stock exchange, I saw an opportunity to help contribute to technology solutions to help that industry. I talked to a ton of people in adjacent industries that had interesting jobs. I talked to the people who ran the stock exchange. I talked to the software companies whose applications were being used on the floor. I talked to investment banks who had presences both on and off the floor. And I spoke with consulting companies who had worked with all of these different companies in delivering these kinds of solutions. So I had a dear friend from college who I told what I was looking for, this job at the intersection of technology and financial services. And he assured me Accenture, where he worked, was looking for exactly that combination of skills. So I applied. He sent me a link to apply. I said I'd been referred by him. And a few days later, I received a very standard rejection email. I forwarded my rejection to my friend, and I was like, hey, thanks a lot for the opportunity, but it looks like that they're not interested. I'm smiling because he proceeded to lose his mind. He reached out to the head of financial services. He reached out to the head of human resources, and he said, we have a serious problem. You told me you were looking for someone with these exact skills. I kind of gave them to you on a silver platter, and you just straight rejected them. So, needless to say, I received a phone call a few days later. I had a phone interview. I still went through the process. I had multiple interviews around soft skills, around hard skills, and I had an offer in hand a few weeks later. So I share all of that to say, I don't want you to be at the mercy of a fickle computer system or a person who doesn't know you well or doesn't have the opportunity to get to know you well. I want you to create connections with people who you are inspired by, who are doing the kind of work you want to do at the types of organizations that you believe in and believe that would take better care of you. So what can we do this week to help you hate looking for a job less? Let's start, as always, with a little diagnosis. Spend some time asking yourself, what is it that you hate exactly about looking for a job? And then ask yourself, what would make you love looking for a job more? Would it be to stop sending resumes and applications and start actually connecting directly with people? Would it be getting off of LinkedIn and calling companies directly that you want to work for? I've seen plenty of people do this. They actually pick up the phone the old-fashioned way and try to get somebody on the phone they can talk to. Whatever it is, try to find one thing that you could do that would help you like looking for a job just a little bit more. And secondly, connect with someone doing the work that you want to do and just ask them about their journey. How did they get started? How did they find the job that they're in? What worked really, really well for them? What didn't work well? What does their resume look like? What's important to them when they're looking to hire people now? You can start to learn from the people who have already accomplished the thing or landed the job that you want for yourself. As always, we wish you the best of luck as you try these things out. Please never hesitate to reach out if you need help. Remember, we love you, we believe in you, and we're here for you. Take care of yourselves and one another, and we'll see you again next week.